Hello and welcome to this training. My name is Will, and what I want to show you guys is how to create this guy talking, blinking, wagging his head, and at the very beginning he does a little, his hand goes up, potentially for a hand wave. So there's a number of things I want to cover in this training. Basically, the main thing is I want to show you how to leverage flashes. Let me make sure I'm recording here. Sweet. I want to make sure that I'm leveraging Flash's ability to make tweens. So instead of having to do every single frame by hand, you can have it do the in-betweens. And there's two main types of tweening that I want to show. One is called a classic tween, and the other is a shape tween. Let me show you what these do. So I get a circle. Now with classic tweens, the shapes or the objects that you move around, they have to be converted into a symbol. So with each shape, there's a stroke and a fill, and to make it into a symbol, you put in F8, or you can right-click and say Create Symbol if you don't have that shortcut. With each symbol that you create, you want to name it. So I'll name this one Circle 5. And there's two types of graphics that we're going to be using. There's two types of symbols that we're going to be using: graphic symbols and movie clip symbols. Button symbols are for if you're programming websites and stuff. So for the most part, stick to a graphic symbol. Registration, I make sure that's in the middle. Hit OK. Alright, so now I have my symbol here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a beginning keyframe here, and on its own layer, has to be on its own layer, and my end keyframe over here. Go forward in time, set a new keyframe, move it. Now Flash will, if you right-click inside of this, create classic tween, it will do the in-betweens. Isn't that awesome? Very powerful. But now one thing I want to show you is how do I make it more natural looking? Well, what we want it to do is to go slow in and slow out. So to do that easily, you click inside the tween somewhere, and then you bring up your properties window. Under the tweening section, there is you can drag this, ease in or ease out, but we want it to do both ease in and ease out. So what we'll do is we'll click this pencil, and we'll tap the beginning dot there, and it gives us this handle. We'll drag that one down, and then we'll tap this ending dot, and we'll drag this one up. So this one represents going slow in, going normal speed, and then slowing out. Okay, so click OK, and now let's look at our circle going slow in, slow out. Oh yeah. Alright, now the next type of tween I want to show you is a shape tween. Shape tweens are for when you want to change the physical shape of things. Now with the classic tween, you could get your free transform tool, and you can squash and stretch stuff. You can even skew stuff, and it works just fine. Great, cool. But let's say I wanted to transform this circle, and I wanted to make it a square. Let's see here. I'm holding down the up and down arrows to change the roundness of the curves. What if I wanted to change this square into circle into a square? Well, with the shape tween, you can do that. So let me just paste the square there. Okay, let's say that it's somewhere in that same spot. To view different keyframes, you use the onion skin tool. Let's get my circle right there. Alright. Now let's see what happens with the shape tweening. Create shape tween. Whoa! See that? It morphs it. Isn't that cool? So how does that apply to this dude right here? Well, what I did with this dude, his arm is using a shape tween, and I want to show you how to do that. So I'm going to show you how I organize the different symbols to create this guy, and then I'll show you how to use the different tweens within Flash. So basically, with the shape tween, real quick, just to show you real quick, let's get a new layer. All these tweens need to be on their own layer. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm creating a clean path with just 2 pivot points, and this is like the noodle arms, noodle legs that you see, you know, in the original Disney animations. They're just a lot easier to animate. So it's a style that I like to do because it's just nice and easy and effective. So let me do a ending keyframe. And I'm going to use this direct select or sub-selection tool to edit the position. But yeah, let's just say that's an arm, and then let's say it extends out, right? So it's there, and then it extends out. Now if I were to right-click inside of here and do Shape Tween, oh yeah, look what it does. It's a very smart program, and Adobe Animate or Flash, it kind of senses where these points are, and if you have a really nice clean stroke with two points, it does a pretty good job of telling what you're trying to do with the animation. Alright, now one thing also though, I want to get the slow in, slow out effect like I had with this circle going left to right. So how do I do that with the shape tweens? Well, in the tweening box there isn't that pencil, so what I do is I get to the middle of my animation and I set a new keyframe, and the beginning half I just drag this, I go ease in 100%, and then the second half I drag it to the right and go ease out. Slow in, slow out. Oh yeah. Great. So let me show you how I built this dude. First of all, what you can tell is he is his own symbol. So all of this animation that you see, it's all inside one symbol. Once you create a symbol, you get your own set of timelines. So right now I'm in scene 1, and I have this main timeline with its own layers. But if I double click inside this guy, he has his own set of layers and his own timeline. So in this guy I have everything. It's good to organize things in layers and just be organized, as good organized as you can be. I'll have a layer for the head, torso, left and right shoulder, left and right hand. I want things to be on their own layers. And also this head that wobbles left and right, it's all on its own. It's its own symbol. So I can go inside of this symbol, double click it, and look, I have an audio layer, I have him blinking and talking, and anyway, so as you can see, this layer is, sorry, this symbol is 125 frames long, and but this one's even longer. So what happens is once it reaches 125, it'll just cycle through and just loop. It'll loop that animation. So just kind of showing you how I organize these things. Let's build this together. I'm going to go to a new document, do File, New, Action Script, frame rate 24 frames per second. All right, let's do this. So let's start with the eye. So I'm going to make actually I'm just going to delete the stroke, just have the fill. So I'm going to select this shape, hit F8, and I'm going to call this eye. Eye blink. Okay? So now I have this one eye, and now I want to go inside of it to its own timeline. You can see I'm inside the eye blink timeline. And I want to add, I want to make this blink. So I'm going to add a simple blinking animation. And so I'm going to have it hold, and then I'm going to have a keyframe where it goes down a little bit. And then it smushes all the way down. And then I want it to come back up. So I'm going to copy that position, do a blank keyframe, Command Shift V or Control Shift V on that one, and then I'll do the same thing at the end for the ending position. So let's see what this looks like. Whoa. Great. There's a blink. Maybe I'll squash that just a little bit more. That's one style of blink. And yeah, I'm going to make sure that everything's deselected so I don't get those weird white dots on it. Okay, so I'm going to double click outside of this symbol. And now, how do I preview my animation? Well, I need to increase the frames in that one keyframe. Yeah, there's my eye blinking. With this symbol, it's a graphic. I could change it to a movie clip, but if I change it to a movie clip, I can't preview the animation. So make sure it's a graphic. I'll show you why you would use a movie clip symbol a little bit later. Great. Basically, there's just, for a movie clip symbol, there's just more options. There's different options of editing it. But as far as previewing animation, you want to use the graphic. Alright, so now I have my eye that's blinking, and it's its own symbol, and it cycles. If I were to hit enter and just let it play, because I'm previewing it out on the main timeline, and the main timeline has more frames in it, it'll just loop through. If I were to select this symbol, there's an option called looping, and I can assign it what it should do. I can tell it what it should do. So if I want it to play once, I can do that. If I want it to just be a single frame, I can do that. But for the most part, I want it to loop. This will save me time to create cycle animations. So now, what's nice though, with symbols, every time you create a symbol, you can go to your library window, and you can find that symbol there, and you can drag it onto your timeline, and you can have as many symbols as you want. Isn't that great? So this is going to save a lot of time, because now I can just create one of these things and duplicate it. What I like to do is I like to Alt-click and drag. That'll create a copy of it. Or you can do copy, paste. It'll do it as well. So Alt click it, so now I have my click and drag, and now I have my two eyes that are blinking. Awesome. I'm going to select these guys, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Now I want to create my head. So grab a circle shape, change this color to, let's do yellow. Oops, I didn't change the right, I changed the stroke. And I want the stroke to be black, and let's make it 10. We'll do a thicker stroke. Now this this head, I want it to make it its own symbol, so I'll do head blank, and once I make it a symbol, I need to arrange it. I'm hitting Command down or Control down to arrange it behind those shapes. You can also right click, arrange, send backwards, send it back. Great. Now let's give him a smile. Let's make this one a dark red, and I can even kind of click and drag this here to. Whenever you're hovering over an edge of a shape, Flash will let you kind of edit the curves. Let's name this mouth blank. Okay. Hooray! Okay, so now we have our smiley face. He's blinking. Awesome. Now what I want to do is let's have him talk. So let's go inside of this mouth, and I named it mouth blank. Actually, what I want to do now is I want to create a mouth that talks. So I'm actually going to right click. I'm going to say duplicate symbol. So what this is doing is actually making a copy of it. So mouth blank copy. Let me just show you. Let me just make a let me make a copy of it, right? But then duplicating it makes it a separate symbol with its own timeline. So now I'm going to right click, duplicate symbol, and I'm going to name this mouth talk. So the benefit of doing that is that I have a starting point that I want to start out. So this one is mouth blank, this one is mouth talk. In mouth talk, I want him to talk, you know? So I'll have an open spot, and I'll have a closed, I'll have a closed thing here. I'll just use the transform tool. So open and close, and that'll just cycle through. Let's see what it does. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, my name is Mr. Smiley. Yeah. And I'm going to remove that mouth blank. If I ever wanted to swap this mouth for the mouth blank, you can imagine why I would want to do that. So actually, what I want to do is let's organize these layers a little bit better. So let's get our eyes. I'll shift select, Command X. I'll put on its own layer. So eyes. I'll do our mouth on its own layer. Command Shift V. Right. Let's see here. Double click there. Mouth. And then our base one will be our face. Alrighty.